Hunters, today's market is sending mixed signals to the crowd with a crystal clear signal to us. Fed expectations have shifted, yields are moving, crypto is building pressure and compressing, and this midweek setup is exactly where the next breakout will come from. Let's get right into it. Right, so quick market snapshot here. We have Fed rate cuts expectations rising. We have yields are reacting but not collapsing. And there's an interesting article here by BlackRock that I want to cover today. Equities are tightening, but there's no leadership today. Tech can't push, cyclicals are waiting, and defensives are still holding. And there is a compression happening in equities. Consumer names remain weak. Retail and discretionary stocks continue showing slowdown signals heading into year end. Crypto is coiling for a move. Bitcoin, Ethereum is showing volatility, and liquidity is thin currently in crypto, as well as funding reset. There is quite there's an expansion in crypto that's happening prior to today. Amateurs are confused. The hunters see alignment. There is clear alignment now in the markets. Now I want to go into a deeper dive into those points that I made, and we'll cover them really, really quickly here. Right, so let's break this down like professionals. First of all, let's cover rate cuts being expected and the expectations going up. Well, I think we have around 80 to 90% expectations that rate cuts are going to be reduced. Rate cuts are going to happen today, as well as going into the new year. Okay. The market, however, is not ripping. And the question is why? So we have Nomura, we have Bank of America expecting rate cuts in 2026 as well, 2 rate cuts there. But why isn't the market ripping? Well, the main reason is because cuts are coming from for the wrong reasons. There's a slowdown in data, there's weaker consumption, and tightening financial conditions in the US economy. That's not a bullish cocktail for high beta tech. So therefore, we are seeing issues in the markets. Here's the article from Nomura. Now, this environment, what I will say is it favors selective rotation. All right. When you have a situation where yields could be going up and AI funding waves may be looming, it is a market for rotations. And that's exactly what we've been doing in my community in Discord, as well as what I'm trying to give you guys here, teaching you guys how to rotate and select stocks. This environment favors rotations, not blind risk, weak tech leadership, defensive stability, value holding, rotational conditions. These are all key things that I'm looking for. And with crypto, what I will say here is it always moves before equities on liquidity shifts. So low volatility, trapped traders, December positions, and then perfect breakout conditions. So this is, in my opinion, this week and last week have been a preparation week. Today is also a preparation day. So I'm not going out there chasing the markets. I'm not going out there buying everything. I've positioned myself with some small positions in crypto and in stocks, building portfolios, managing risk, being in the money and in profit with most of my stock portfolios and about half of my trades in crypto already. So we're in a situation where we're in a position of strength and we can manage our risk. Now, let's go into the markets. I want to cover quickly here where the conditions of the markets are. I want to talk about the current situation of the markets with stocks. As you can see here, there is, in the last week or so, we've seen Tesla increase, WMT seen a nice increase. These are 2 trades that I've placed. Intel was quite nice as well. And then we have traded all of these big names, but we've traded some decent movers on top of these. We are looking at Nvidia. I'm looking at AMD as well, and Alibaba in the Chinese market. So we'll see how the market reacts today, and then we'll make some decisions there. In terms of the overall market, let's go into the S&P 500, then we'll go into crypto. I'll do a quick market analysis here on technicals, just to give you guys an update of where I think the market will go. A few days ago, I drew this. I'm going to see it very quickly when it pops up. There you go. This would be a perfect distribution. A move all the way down here would even be better for a bullish move later on. But we're on a verge here of a dip in the markets. As you can see, 2-3 days of a dip. And we have to see whether we go down to these levels of around 6.7, 6.8, test, and then a rebuild. We have to manage risk today. This is one of the key points that I'm going to be making throughout the video. Manage risk carefully. If, however, we start moving higher and we have a breakout, we can then start scaling in rather than scaling out. The NASDAQ is up today, very, very slightly here, with large tech moving a little bit higher. The Russell as well moving higher, but there are fears of this move failing here. Overall, I think the market's grinding up higher. We have VIX, which retraced to the 17 level, as you can see here. This is one of my expectations, where I expected the market to come back up, or the fear to kick in this week and the latter part of last week, and then for the VIX to rise up. And then the bullish scenario is, do we get this move all the way down to 14, 15, 16 to give us a move with the S&P 500, I think, to around 6.K again, maybe even 7.1K if the momentum really gives us that kind of move. But the volatility increasing is a worry for the markets and risk on assets at the moment. And we are seeing crypto selling off slightly in pre-market here. It's around 11 a.m. in the UK. I think it's around 5 a.m. in New York right now. What I've been monitoring the whole week, or the last 2 weeks, is the dollar. I think the dollar has given me plenty of signs of where the market will go. The dollar's been rising, and I expected the dollar to at least come to this zone of 99.3, 99.4, test this trend line after the break. The reason why we moved bullish was this break, in my opinion, in the dollar. So weakening dollar, came back down, rise, and if we come back down here with the VIX dropping off, the volatility and the fear being neutralized, moving to neutral rather than fear, then we can move, in my opinion, to around 7K in the S&P 500 quite quickly within a few days or weeks. We also have, we also need to monitor the 10-year bonds. I've mentioned it in my Discord group, as well as on these daily analysis that I provide, that we had a inverted head and shoulder here, and we are on the way to 4.3. Now, during this video, I also mentioned that BlackRock said that we could have elevated yields because of the AI funding wave. Okay, so we have to monitor the situation in the context of the market overall, rather than just say, yes, it's risk off here. So it could be risk on and risk, and bonds could move higher. Typically, when bonds move higher, it's risk off, and we're seeing that in the last 3 or 4 days, and we've seen that since the 28th, which is Friday last week or the week before. We have US oil, which I expected to move up higher. I entered the trade and it was a bit too soon, in my opinion. Well, on hindsight, I could say it was a bit too soon. I entered around here. And I think it's still consolidating with this zone. And if we can break out again, I expected it to hold off here and then bounce, came back down. We can now look at this potential move up higher. US oil is a very, very tricky trade. I've always found it quite tricky. So as a swing trader, it's not the most suitable asset to trade. Chinese market is moving quite well in pre-market, bouncing around this zone. Good bounce. I'll be watching Alibaba and a few other ones. With crypto, I'll quickly cover crypto. I mentioned in my Discord group that we had 3 zones yesterday. We had, I'll just show you guys really quickly here on the 1 hourly. Right, so we were around this price tightening, which was happening earlier in the day pre-market open, and I said that we have 1, 2. We have to clear 93.7 for that move up higher, and then what we did is we cleared this first zone for the bullish side. We tested this zone. We came back down. We're coming back to this level, it seems, and then we will decide whether we go short or long today in the markets. I will say in the last couple rate cuts, we've had a sell-off in the markets because traders are buying the rumor and then selling the news. So we have to be very, very careful today with the way that we manage our trades. That's the situation with Bitcoin. And then when we're looking at the daily and the larger time frames, we are on the verge of a breakout here, but it could easily, if it breaks 91 again, in my opinion, if it breaks this 91 zone again, we could go back down. If it breaks again the 90, 89 zone, then we go all the way to 80K once again. So we have to be very, very cautious here of how the market moves today, or the lead, or the days after today, when we get a decision from traders based on the rate cuts and what Jerome Powell says in his conference. We have Ethereum. I decided to trade this and go in a bit aggressive on this one. Just looks very nice here with the tightening. As you can see, this dotted line here, when it broke, I entered, and it looks quite nice. I'm in the money. I'm in profit, and I'm looking to see how it reacts. Hopefully, we can get some follow through all the way up to 3.8, and then we can kind of decide where the market goes after that. That's the kind of zone that's the zone I'm looking for. Other than that, in crypto, I'll say if you are interested in seeing what cryptos I'm watching and potentially trading, you can go and join the Discord group that I have, which is TrendHunters. The link is below in the description of the video. It's only £15 a month. You get market conditions analysis, you get macro analysis, you get live streams once a week where I'm screening new ideas on a Sunday, and you also get daily hand-picked selected watch lists by me. It's not 30, 40, 100 ideas. It's just 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 ideas, depending on the day. Sometimes there's no ideas because the market isn't right for a swing trader and a trend follower like me. And yeah, you're going to get some value for your money. Very, very cheap. And we are looking to scale that community and offer you guys some real value later on with some new additional educational materials there and so on. So if you get in right now, you're getting in at a lower price than in 6 months' time once we've developed the group to a higher level. Right. Other than that, I say that's it for today. Drop me a comment below. What sectors and what cryptos are you hunting and looking for today? Also, for real-time entries and charts and breakdowns and setups, join the community, okay? And subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye-bye.